This is what you guys get for an intro because I don't know what else to do because this is Lego. Hello, everyone. Today we are going to be looking at the Lego set 10338 Bumblebee. However, before we look at Bumblebee, let's look at his box, which is really bordering on the size of my light box. So there you got Bumblebee, you got all the specs down there, you got Bumblebee, and each side has something different. On this side, you get the Transformers logo with Bumblebee, and then all of this legal text here that I'm assuming you can see. I sure can't see it because I'm the one moving the camera, and my system doesn't really like when I move the camera in front of it. Then on this side, you get Lego and Hasbro, you get Bumblebee, and then all this crap. And finally, on the back, come on, there you go. You get the just general back of the box with Bumblebee, model converts, looking at all the stuff. Now that that's out of the way, let's move the camera around a little bit and look at B. He looks interesting. It's a bit of an odd look, however, when you have it for a bit, you get used to it. Sure, his shoulders are really, really bulky, but it doesn't really distract. The build itself is pretty fun. The most boring part are the legs because they're just panels on panels. He doesn't, and he doesn't have nearly as many accessories as the Lego Optimus, but he has some. You get his blue gun, which looks pretty accurate to the G1 gun if we use the 86 gun as a base. Then this clip just clips into the bar that holds his fingers in place. So you just snap that in, wrap his fingers around, and boom. There's Bumblebee wielding his little bitty blaster. Oh god. Okay. I really need to find a better way to make these videos. This is annoying. Really need to find a better way to make these videos because the way I do it right now is just kind of annoying. I enjoy doing it, but for bigger figures like this, it's just annoying, honestly. Come on. There you go. I'll try to think up of ways to change the way I do my videos because this is really taxing on my arms. But whatever. He also has an alternative license that says GLDBUG, which is, of course, a reference to Goldbug. It also has September 17th, 1980. It also has September 1784 on it, which is the day the first Transformers episode aired. I'm not sure what that little symbol on the bottom left corner is, and on the bottom of the license plate it has Autobot. And of course, this is a reference to Goldbug, although I am going to keep the BMBL 84 plate on. He also has two of these yellow blank tiles, so you can, in alt mode, you can swap them to cover up the Autobot logo there, on his chest, or the Autobot logo here on his foot. But I don't see the point. And then finally, we get his display plaque, like we got for Optimus. The least likely can be the most dangerous. Strength of 2. Strength of 2. Oof. I believe that's just Bumblebee and Cybertronian down there. Yeah, that's just Bumblebee and Cybertronian. Intelligence 8, Speed 4, Endurance 7, Rank 7, Courage 10, Firepower 1. Jeez, that's mean. That is unnecessarily mean. And Skill 7. And this is just what it looks like from the back. It is slightly different from Prime's in that regard, whereas on Primes they don't fill this. But on Bumblebees they do. But yeah, Bumblebee is weak. Like, God. Oof, that is not good. And honestly, just this figure in general seems like it was designed more for play than for display. And that's a reason. And there is a really good reason for that. This and Optimus, who I'm struggling to grab right now, this and Optimus have two completely different designers, and I'm going to cut the video to bring Optimus in frame. I'm going to have to hold the phone up like this so that way you can see both Prime and Bumblebee, but Prime's designer is Joe Kite, a former Hasbro employee that worked on Transformers until he left and began working with LEGO, where he got the chance to design the beast that is LEGO Optimus. B was designed by Samuel Liltorp Johnson, thank God I said that right, first take, who had never worked for Hasbro, let alone Transformers. So one is designed by someone who worked on Transformers for years, and the other designed by someone who works on LEGO for years. So these two have completely different aesthetics because they're designed for different things. Prime is designed to be posable, which means he can be unstable in some parts, to say the least. B is designed to be solid, which means he's kind of a brick, but doesn't fall apart nearly as much. Speaking of which, let's go over Bumblebee's articulation. And size comparison is right here, Prime and B. Prime is bigger than B, obviously, and now I'm going to cut to get Prime out of the light box. Alright, now let's do Bumblebee's articulation, which, as you can probably clearly tell, is not much. I will give it to the head, though. It is on a really nice ball joint, so it can look up and down, tilt, rotate, all that fun stuff. And yes, the face is, in fact, just Optimus Prime's mouth plate. So I just took off Prime's head here. So let's take off Prime's mouth plate for a second. Take off top of Bumblebee's head. Take off his face. So now we can get faceless Bumblebee, which honestly I can see as kind of a gold bug. God. Alright, I'm gonna cut the video real quick. Alright, so here we have like a faceless Bumblebee, which honestly I could see this silver, like someone put a bar over that, and that can be like a gold bug face. And then, I haven't done this yet. This looks so stupid. Like, for Bumblebee, it looks cool. For Bumblebee, it looks like a face mask. But for Optimus, it just... Okay, let's put all these faces back where they belong. Let's put Optimus's mouth plate back on. There you go. Good. And then let's put Bumblebee's face back on. And put the head back on. There you go. Now let's take Optimus's head. Put you back. That's attached, right? Yep. Sorry, he's on the floor right now. But we already went over Bumblebee's head articulation. Shoulders. On soft ratchets, go full 360, although these little pieces do like to get in the way. Although, here's the thing, when shifting them out, the transformation joint moves before the ratchet joint, so just be sure of that. The amount of times I've forgotten this thing doesn't have a bicep swivel, tried to twist it, and the lower arm fell off is so annoying, but he does not have a bicep swivel. He has like an indented, what is that, elbow bend. You actually do get a wrist rotation. Hinge joint at the thumb, and a hinge joint at the rest of his fingers, which means they can form a fist, which I'm just going to do right now because this is the orientation they must be in for transformation, so I'm just going to get that over with. He has no waist. Prime also has no waist. That transformation joint does not count, and he will not ever make me think it counts. With the ratchet joints in here, you can kind of get like a fake ab crunch, but I'm not going to bother. You can also get hip movement, but who's going to use that? Can also go out, but also who's going to use that? Because these little rubber tires here need to be touching the ground or else they'll just slide. He does have an ankle swivel on a very nice ratchet, and that is it. That's Bumblebee's articulation. So, transforming this thing. First thing, straighten out the arms. Next, parts forming. Just fold all this out. Parts forming. No, nobody cares. It's Lego. What were they supposed to do with that? It wasn't going to fold away. So then I always forget to do this. Flip up these little pieces right here. Now we can work on the feet. Feet are very satisfying. Fold these pieces out. Flip this piece up. Collapse the foot. Bring that back. Collapse this. Bring that in. And it should slide in, kind of. Come on. Work with me here. I'm making a video. No, that's not as deep as it's meant to go, is it? Here, I'll do the other foot to make sure that. Doing the other foot on screen. Yeah, that's supposed to go in further. There we go. Then we can just clip the legs together. My arms are already getting tired. Next, we want to take this whole assembly and just kind of hinge it up. Fold out these little pieces right here. They fold in for transformation. Now we get to work on the just unfolding the entire upper torso on these ratchets. Collapse this down. Rotate the wrist and flip that piece down. Rotate the wrist, flip that piece down. And now we can work on just sandwiching these ratchets into their proper vehicular mode positions, which is easy when I'm not doing it in front of a camera, because doing it in front of a camera makes everything harder. Now I'm going to lower the camera so I can put this thing down, and my arms can have a break. Ah, much better. Now, what we want to do is you want to collapse the arms into place. They will snap into the side of the legs. Now you can collapse the back as closely as you can to this specific configuration. Then you can close up the doors. Now we take Bumblebee's front windshield. It'll peg into these two studs here, and this hinge will slide very nicely into that little crook. Come on. Come on. It can be a bit finicky at times, but there we go. And then you take the bumper, shift it down, and come on. Friggin'. Alright, so then there we have Bumblebee and his vehicle mode. And this alt mode is falling apart. What? You're supposed to be able to grab it from here, and that shouldn't happen. I think the torso might just not be clipped in correctly because I did this on camera, but I don't care. This alt mode is kind of like a fake Volkswagen Beetle because apparently a real Volkswagen license is really expensive. But it still looks good, even with the parts forming. If anything, sliding the windshield into place is actually really satisfying when it goes in, but of course it didn't go in this time because that's the curse of the camera. And just with the way that is supposed to slide in there, just satisfaction. The rubber tires also means it rolls decently well, although it is the kind of brought down by the weight of just the pure, just absolute mass of plastic that this thing is. And as for a size comparison with Optimus, whoa, okay. Come on. Optimus, of course, is a lot bigger than Bumblebee. But I think these two work pretty well alongside one another. Which you can't really see because Prime is so big he hardly fits in my light box. I really don't want to review this thing because it would be so annoying to do because he's so big. Kind of like if I were to try to do Magmatron in this light box. It just wouldn't work. My old light box is better for this kind of stuff. Like, for bigger figures, I might have to dig that thing out. Because this is just better for smaller figures. That old light box gave me a lot more room to work with. But, whatever. Let's take Prime out. Come on. This is not in slow motion. It's just I need to maneuver it like that. And now we can do some final thoughts for a Bumblebee. This is actually pretty fun. I mess with it a lot more than Prime, and there's a reason for that. If you're a Lego collector, I'd say pick it up. If you have Prime, it wouldn't really compare in quality, but for what it is, it's pretty good. So that has been all. So goodbye and good night.